Shalom. We're going to start this off by giving honor, praise, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Wahawah Kakwadash. Peace and salutations to you, like individuals, starting with the elder apostles, elder bishops of GMS on down. To the rest of you brothers and the brothers that I labor with, who help us forth the will and doctrine of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, in all faith, truth, and sincerity, according to the true understanding of the scriptures. To all of you, I say Shalom. So this will just be a quick lesson touching on reincarnation, right? And I may do like a part 2. But it was just interesting because the elder Gabar and the elder Ramlab, they had their lesson a week or so back. They were going into reincarnation, and the elder Ramlab had quoted scripture in Ezekiel, which helped to give understanding in regards to how reincarnation works, right? How the son shall not basically inherit his father's iniquity, to where he has to be judged for that. But you have, like here in Exodus 34 and 6, you also have in Leviticus 20 and 5. I believe it's Deuteronomy 9 and 5, and Numbers 14 or 13, or something like that. Or basically just goes on to mention, how reincarnation works. But it isn't to be confusion, because the Lord, he's not the author of confusion. So really just touching on that, or this Exodus and the Ezekiel, it helps to give clarity in regards to how that works, right? So jumping straight into it, this is Exodus 34, and I'm going to start at verse 6. It says, "And the Lord passed by before him and proclaimed, the Lord Yahweh, merciful and gracious, long-suffering, and abundant in goodness and truth." It says, and this is the point, verse 7, "keeping mercy for thousands, forgiving iniquity and transgression and sin. And that will by no means clear the guilty," which is key. But it says, "visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, and upon the children's children, unto the third and fourth," onto the third and to the fourth generation, right? So when you die, you go back to the spirit world. You hear the verdict of your judgment in regards to what you did in your current life, and you go on to live out the judgment of that in your next, right? Scriptures talk about there is no remembrance of former things. Why would there be a need to remember former things, right? Why would that be something alluded to, if you will? The reason why that is because the Lord, he created all things, right? There's no new thing under the sun. So all the spirits that he created, right? And they just keep coming back, the regeneration, right? Which is simply just reincarnation, But you come back in your same seed line in the third, fourth generation after, the one that you were just in, right? Now jump in to Ezekiel 18, and I'm going to start at verse 13. It says, or actually, no, it's like you. Verse 14. It says, "Now lo, if he beget a son that seeth all his father's sins which he hath done, and considereth and doeth not such like, right? So if he sees the sins that his father committed, this, being a son to a father, but he doesn't go on to commit the same things or live the same way as his father did, right? That have not eaten up the mountains, neither have lifted up the eyes to the idols of the house of Israel, hath not defiled his neighbor's wife, right? So these are all wicked things. Neither hath oppressed any, have not withholden the pledge, neither have spoiled by violence, but have given his bread to the hungry, and have covered the naked with a garment. It says that have taken off his hand from the poor, that have not received usury nor increase, hath executed my judgments, have walked in my statutes, and these are things that are of righteousness, right? It says, he shall not die for the iniquity of his father. Slakia. It says, he shall surely live. It says, as for his father, because he cruelly oppressed, spoiled his brother by violence, and did that which is not good among his people, lo, even he shall die in his iniquity. It says, yet say ye, why? Doth not the son bear the iniquity of the father? Right? And that's like what people could try to say in regards to trying to contradict Exodus 34 or Leviticus 20:5, or, the accounts within the law, the Torah, that say, visiting the iniquity, in the 34th generation, right? But it says, when the son have done that which is lawful and right, and have kept all my statutes, and have done them, he shall surely live. And this is the point, verse 20. It says, the soul that sinneth, it shall die. Right? And it says, the son shall not bear the iniquity of the father, neither shall the father bear the iniquity of the son. Right? You're going to bear your own iniquity. But again, you bear it when you come back. You're going to come back through your seed line. So you'll be likened unto one of your children, which technically you would in the flesh, but spiritually is you. So it says, the righteousness of the righteous shall be upon him, and the wickedness of the wicked shall be upon him. You see? So you still gonna have to deal with the things that you've done in your past life and this current one. All right? And you got different accounts where you have reincarnation being talked about within the New Testament. Right? You got the account where really grab it real quick. I believe it's Matthew 16. Yeah, 16 and 13. It says, when Yahushua came into the coast of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, saying, whom do men say that I am? Salakia, whom do the men say that I, the Son of Man, am? And they said, some say thou art John the Baptist, some say Elias, and others Jeremiah, or one of the prophets. Right? Now all of those men are men that came before Yahushua. Right? Came before this time. Right? It says, and it's lucky, and that's key, because for them to say that shows they deal with reincarnation, they understand reincarnation, and that reincarnation is a real thing. For them to have considered this, being disciples, being men of the Lord, It says, he saith unto them, but whom say ye that I am? And Simon Peter answered and said, thou art the Hamashiach, the Son of the living God. You see? And the point was really 14, verse 14. But you have the other account where Yahushua goes on to say that John the Baptist was Elijah, right? Showing that he understood reincarnation to be real, you know? But I'll grab one more, and this is one that the elders brought out as well in the lesson that they did. It's a good one. John 9 and verse 1, it says, And as Yahushua passed by, he saw a man which was blind from his birth. And his disciples asked him, saying, Master, who did sin, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? Now, why would they be asking about his parents? Right? If reincarnation is not a real thing. Right? Because again, as it said in Exodus, right? Visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children and upon the children's children, onto the third and fourth generation, you know? So, when he say that, is he specifically talking about, you know, it's not him going on to simply this is showing forth again they understand reincarnation is real. Because how can him being blind from birth, having, you know what I'm saying, had sinned? You know, what could he have done to where this is his judgment? You know what I'm saying? If reincarnation is not real. So this goes on to show that it is real. Because again, you live out the judgment of what you did in your past life in the present. You know? Last verse I'll grab is this one, just to further add to that point. This is 2 Ezra 7 and 56. For while we lived and committed iniquity, we considered not that we should begin to suffer for it after death. You see? So, this is a man that, and you see in slew of accounts, you know, where though he was born with something, right, it wasn't something that was necessarily due to something that happened in the present, you know. And on top of this, it just further shows the Lord's glory, which is what Yahushua went on to say, right? In verse 3 it says, And Yahushua answered, Neither hath this man sinned nor his parents, but that the works of God should be made manifest in him. Right? Because what ended up going on to happen is he got healed. So it's to show the miracles of our power, why we need him, why we need to lean upon him, you know? Through us doing what's right and no longer following the curses, following after the same footsteps of our forefathers, right? Ourselves in our past lives, but going on to change and do what's right, we can change our verdict, our judgment. Instead of receiving damnation, we can receive salvation. You know, the things that were written aforetime were written for our learning, right? It's through us reading the scriptures that we can gain remembrance of what we did in our past lives without knowing the specifics, but the important things, knowing that we went the hell off, right? So that way we can turn back and do what's right, simply. So that's pretty much the point, you know. Like I said, I may do another part 2 on this, but Lord well, this was edifying. So with that, I'm going to give honor, praise, and glory to Yahweh, Hashem Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Kakwadash. Until next time, Shalom.